Welcome back to AABJ Presents In Contact. Let's continue our conversation with the freedom fighter, attorney Gerald Grigg, as we discuss the ever so controversial Mercedes-Benz Stadium and its effect on the disenfranchised in Atlanta. Should we hold our local officials accountable for the less fortunate in our city? Are the Atlanta Falcons cursed? Stay tuned to hear the answers to these questions and more from our special guest.
If you think about it, Turner Hill was home to the Brave Stadium.
Yes.
Now the Brave Stadium is no longer there, it's now in Cobb County. They could have done that with this project, right?
Yes.
So then what benefits would have been made for that community? So it's almost kind of like what do you do in a situation like that, you know? Some people will not be happy regardless if there are changes to the area because of the stadium, but at the same time, they could have removed it the same way they did with Turner Field. What do you think about that?
But if you look at where Turner Field is now, SunTrust Park, and you look at all the development, you have Cumberland Mall there, you have all those apartments, you have all of that retail space that was already there. You don't see them tearing down the apartments and tearing down the luxury condos and moving people out. What we're saying is bring the retail investment in, just like you did for the Brave Stadium there. Bring it in, but make sure you don't displace the community. If you do that, we'll see all the residents wrapping their arms around the Brave Stadium, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, as well as the new Georgia State Stadium. But it's a completely different community when you say what happened in Cobb County. They made sure that that community stayed the same, but improvements were made to bring more money and economic development into that community.
And also that community could afford those changes as well.
Well, could they? There's a lot of dispute about the taxes that are being used for that facility, so much so that the chairman that brought it was not reelected.
Okay, so that being said, if we bring that same narrative back to where we are at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, how can we balance the two? Okay, because we know, again, we are not going to make everyone happy. I'm a Falcons fan. I'm not going to lie. I was very upset when they were thinking about tearing down the dome for the stadium, mainly because I wanted to tailgate. However, if we see the changes, especially now that it's happening here, when are we going to be able to say, okay, they did a good job?
When we see retail spaces that are there, when we see new homes that are built for both at market and below market so that the individuals that live there can continue to live there, but they also bring the added value of other individuals moving in. And then we see a bustling economy where you have people that are mid to middle to lower income and upper income all coalescing in an area where there is reinvestment. So basically what we want to see is an Atlantic station that's mixed use for everybody.
Okay, so I am convinced that Mayor Keisha is a fan of the show. I'm manifesting that. All right, if you could have a conversation with her, like you're having with me about this same topic, what would you tell her?
Let's talk about the Gulch project, and let's talk about a $5 billion investment with only 200 units of affordable housing. If you're going to do deals like the Gulch deal or the deal with Mercedes-Benz, it needs be 50-50 of investment and return to the citizens that are there. So if we're going to be doing $5 billion projects, we need $2.5 billion pumped back into the community for those individuals that voted for you. So that's what they're asking for. They're asking for an equal seat at the table to be considered and to have community benefits.
All right, let's talk about this table. So who's at the table?
The residents of Summer Hill, the residents of English Avenue, the residents of Vine City, the residents of Southwest Atlanta, all the individuals that coalesce to bring you to power, to elect you. Those are the individuals, your constituency.
And so who's making the investments?
That would be the business community. That would be the Arthur Blanks of the world, the big investors that are here, you know, the Chamber of Commerce, individuals like that. But they need to understand that you have a responsibility to your voters, and those voters are expecting a return on their investment, which was their vote.
Is it fair to say, because I think a lot of us look at gentrification as a bad word in the black and brown, from a black perspective,
Yes.
we look at this as a bad word. How can we prevent gentrification affecting our community in the future?
We have to hold our elected officials that look like us to the same standard. We don't want to see what happened during the Olympics, where you saw the base go from 70% to 51%. with these new projects, it's going to go under 40%, and then you're going to have a brand new constituency. If you are truly running to help your constituency, you have to provide on those promises that were made on the campaign trail. So what we need is real affordable housing. We need the homeless situation to be taken care of, because Peachtree and Pine was closed, and we see a rise in homeless individuals sleeping under the bridge, bridges not having warming stations. These are all issues that need to be addressed, and they need to be addressed in a substantive way by providing for the promises you made on the campaign trail.
They built the stadium after negotiating with 2 churches. So we removed 2 churches to build a stadium. So what are your thoughts on the Falcons never winning because of that?
Well, I know the young lady who made the curse, and I agree with her. I think that when you destroy 2 sacred buildings, one of which was the birthplace of 2 historically black colleges, to build a stadium, I think until you do right by the community that's around that stadium, you will probably not win a Super Bowl. So again, 28-3 happened for a reason.
Okay, I thought that was essentially like an urban legend, but I didn't know that it was a central curse. Okay, can we talk about that a little bit more?
Yeah, so basically after the deal was negotiated and they forced the churches to move, there was a local activist who said the Falcons will not win a Super Bowl because of this deal. So the curse, and it seems to have worked. And, you know, my concern is, you know, if we're going to do right by this community, maybe we convince her to lift the curse.
Well, who is she?
She's a prominent activist.
Okay.
And so again, it goes back to, you know, the spirit of this city. The city is a entity that is about justice. And until you have justice, you can't just put up murals and say you're the city too busy to hate. You actually have to do it. So the charge would be on our elected officials and our business community to do right by that neighborhood. And who knows, maybe we'll get back to the business of football and maybe winning. But until that happens, one, there's no football, there probably won't be any Super Bowl, and there definitely won't be any Super Bowl champions.
Tell the folks how they can get in contact with you.
Well, I'm on all social media at Attorney Griggs. You can contact us at the NAACP, www.naacpatlanta.org or naacpgeorgia.org. And you can call me or hit me up on the website, www.geraldgriggs.com. I'm always in the community. I'm one call away, I'm one tweet away, I'm one Instagram post away, but I will be in the community. I will be standing up for the rights of those that are marginalized, and I will make sure Atlanta is the beacon on the hill, the Mecca that our foreparents left us, and we're not going to allow any politician to push us backwards.
Last question. All right, this is going to be a mic drop moment. You're the justice fighter.
Yes.
This is a social justice issue.
Absolutely.
What is your final words when it comes down to your position as a justice fighter and this being a social issue, how we can remedy this as a community together?
This is the birthplace of civil rights. It's also the birthplace of social justice. And what they need to understand is we will use all the tools in our tool bag, whether that's protests, whether that's elections, whether that's things that are outside the box, to make sure our elected officials understand it's not business as usual anymore. You will be responsive to your base or you will be removed.
All right. I think you dropped that mic on my foot.
Multiple times.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. This has been a very great conversation that I'm pretty sure will continue, not just here, but at home and maybe on the way home. Okay. All right. Thank you
for having me.
My pleasure. I'd like to thank Attorney Gerald A. Griggs for joining us in the studio today, and I'd like to thank you at home for watching and joining this discussion. We hope that you stick around and join us for our newest segment, the In Contact After Show. Yes, the After Show is where myself and the producers of the show continue the conversation, but in a no-holds-barred sort of way. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. Thank you again for watching, and remember, be informed, be in contact, but most of all, be you. See you next time.
Be informed. You gotta know what's going on in our community. So together we can make a change. You and me. Yeah. Be in contact.
I think one of the great benefits of working for Georgia Power is to be able to participate in the Citizens of Georgia Power and become a member. And they support a lot of great organizations like Relay for Life. Relay for Life is an organization that helps raise money to find a cure for cancer. And Citizens of Georgia Power partners with Relay for Life. Fundraising and cancer awareness are important to me because it's just something that has affected my life, and also I cannot think of a person whose life has not been affected by cancer. One of our co-workers, Scott Hayner, is a survivor as well.
You know, she's been a great supporter of Georgia Power's involvement in the community. She's just got a great personality. Overall, she's just a great person to be around.
I'm the Citizens of Georgia Power Relay for Life team captain. My duties are to organize the event every year. We work hard on planning this event. It's a good opportunity for us to meet up with our co-workers and their families every year and just have some downtime together.
One of the events that we do at Relay for Life is a survivor lap.
Our team walks a lap in honor of cancer survivors and in memory of those who've lost their lives to cancer. Volunteering and giving back to the community is just the culture here. It's our Southern style. And to be a part of Citizens of Georgia Power is to be a citizen where we serve.
The Big Thank You is a letter writing project to soldiers stationed overseas. And we get the community as well as employees here at Georgia Power to write letters. And they can be letters of thanks, they can be letters just telling them what's going on in their lives.
Sarah Beth pours her heart into the project. The relationships that she has, reaching out to people, that's what makes the difference.
Sometimes we go to schools and share about the Big Thank You project. They are so excited to write letters. These are truly their heroes. That's one of my favorite parts of the project, is sorting through the letters, especially the letters that kids have written.
Dear U.S. Soldier, if you're reading this, I hope you will eventually come back to your family.
Thank you very much for serving our country and protecting all U.S. citizens.
It takes a lot of courage and sacrifice to leave your home and or families for the sake of the country.
The letters are sent over the week of Thanksgiving, so getting one small letter could make a difference in that soldier's life.